Welcome to What the Sports. I'm your host, TJ Carpenter. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Also do the same thing on Facebook. Hit that notifications tab. That way you can get all the updates from us whenever we come out with new videos. A lot of Dallas Cowboys stuff, a little bit of Denver Broncos stuff as well, but of course, really just silly internet videos. That's kind of what we come down to here on What the Sports. And if you're looking for some scores, some news and some notes, some interesting factoids from 538.com, well, you've come to the wrong place. Oh my God. That was the worst ball-related act the Patriots have committed since Deflategate. Actually, no, it's worse than Deflategate. At least in Deflategate, all they were doing was deflating balls. Here, they're squeezing every last drop of life they can out of them until the Jets submit. Heinous. Heinous anus. How much do you think that donation was worth? Earlier in the game, Zeke donated $21 on his first touchdown. Here, he's giving the ultimate donation: human flesh. Zeke Elliott is so much better than everybody else on the Cowboys. He donated their quarterback to the Salvation Army. That's what you get for taking too long on that contract extension, Jerry. Yeah, you thought you were going to get a discount? Well, Zeke Elliott just donated your quarterback to charity.
3rd and goal. Over the top and intercepted! Intercepted by Shelby Harris.
In what world does Big Ben think that's a good throw? Turns out, this one. Shelby Harris admitted he fucked up on that play, and it wound up in a Denver Broncos victory. Well, I guess you could say Big Ben fucked up too, because this is an RPO, and he should have R'd when he peed. Because in this instance, he just ends up peeing into the hands of another man. Yeah.
I'm here with our lucky contestant, David, who will have 30 seconds to guess if the next card shown will be higher or lower than the first card shown at the table. If David guesses all these correctly, he will win a Pachanga getaway package. David, are you ready? Let's get started. Higher or lower than 0?
Lower.
Lower. Well, all right, it looks like your luck right now. Thank you so much for playing tonight's Pachanga high-low game.
I really want to know what's going on here. Did he just not want to be there? I thought at first maybe he just didn't understand the rules of high-low, but she explains how the game works before they start. Did he just not want to be there? Is he deaf? Was the crowd too loud around him? Maybe he's getting into a staring contest with LeVar Ball off camera and we just can't see it. We may never know what happened here, but I will say this. If on the off chance it was some sort of Andy Kaufman-esque performance art, well done, sir.
The head coach when Bob Stoops retired. Here's Murray, the worst nightmare for Tony Gibson's defense. Murray gets a nice block downfield from CeeDee Lamb and scores. A 55-yard touchdown run.
College football. The gift that keeps on giving. Kyler Murray is just the most recent example of how college football always delivers. It's been a while since we've had a Heisman Trophy winner who has absolutely no chance of playing in the league. I thought it was going to be Tim Tebow, but the Broncos ended up drafting him in the first round for some reason, and it's kind of a sore subject around here. But at any rate, Kyler Murray is a throwback to the days of Charlie Ward, and I, for one, just can't wait until we get to see him waste away in the minor league system of the Oakland Athletics until he is inevitably traded to Tampa for a relief pitcher from Cal State Fullerton. That's the beauty of America's pastime. We get to see somebody with tremendous athletic potential waste away in Midland, Texas until he develops a drinking problem. Well, that's how America's pastime operates, the way a man's sport operates.
Dalton with a 2nd down and 10 up the middle to pressure. The ball downfield, it's picked off on the play. Picked off by Demarius Randall.
Andy Dalton threw an interception. That's not news. But Hugh Jackson coaching for the Bengals, which as we all know, just a front for laundering drug money for the cartel. That's new. And man, are those Browns salty. In particular, Baker Mayfield. So cold. Just so cold. Also from this game, David Njoku reminded us all of how to play The Ground is Lava, which in Cincinnati could be a referendum on fracking. I mean, really, if we're talking about fracking issues in Ohio, that's really more southeast Ohio, nowhere near Cincinnati. But that's not what this was. It was no referendum, no political statement here, just a cool football play. And definitely not a referendum or political statement on fracking. I mean, there's no real population centers in southeast Ohio. They don't really have the votes for it. But that's not what this is.
Yell and scream and everything you want, but you don't do that. Yay! Get both out of here!
It's a well-established fact that old people hate yelling. It is not a well-established fact that if you don't stop yelling in their ear, they'll put you in a headlock. That's exactly what happened to me in my childhood. Anytime I got too excited about Blue's Clues, there was my grandfather, put me into a headlock. Something you got to learn early on in life. That's right, you got to learn it early. Otherwise, you may wind up one day a middle-aged man getting put into a headlock or being body slammed by senior citizen justice. And it might be at a football game. And that's how you wind up on YouTube for the wrong reasons.
Of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on all players from both teams. That will be their first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. It's a flagrant personal foul.
It's true. The whole field deserves an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Everyone in the game. All of them. For this sham of a game, this sham of a performance all season. How dare you try to make my eyes bleed with this pathetic excuse for what you call football in the state of Mississippi. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Everyone in the stadium, everyone in the state of Mississippi, all men, women, children, farm animals, all of you should be ashamed for that and also your ridiculous, unwarranted stadium expansion projects. And also that time you let Houston Nutt coach inside your state. Should have learned from Arkansas. It's a bad idea. My favorite part of watching millionaires fight each other is that very ceremonial toss by the official right in the middle of the violence. I now deem this violence inappropriate. That violence over there, totally okay, but this violence over here, unwarranted, uncalled for, and I shall deem it so by throwing my handkerchief in the air. Also, this is Bills Jags, or what I like to call the Resentment Bowl. That's right, Buffalo resents Jacksonville because what did they do to deserve all that nice weather? And Jacksonville resents Buffalo because, hey, how come nobody ever judges them for their alcoholism? I mean, Parrot Head USA drinks one too many margaritas and ends up throwing a bottle at a 300-pound lineman, and all of a sudden, it's a big deal. We gotta judge Jacksonville. Don't be judgers. A Miami Hurricane killed a Wake Forest defender here. I actually think he deserves more points for this play. A lot of people want less violence in football. I want more. What? You want former players in the commentator booth who make sense? Yeah, I see how you guys are trying to ruin my sport. You want Neil deGrasse Elway in the booth talking about advanced analytics and here's a sophisticated breakdown of a rub play. Yeah, that's what you guys want. No, I don't want that. I want Troy Aikman, who repeats himself for no reason. I want Emmitt Smith in the booth, who makes up words to describe things that didn't happen. I want a color guy who forgets his own name. Brett Favre didn't even know what a nickel defense was and didn't need to, didn't want to. What is he, some kind of nerd? Who knows what a nickel defense is? Who cares? Let the players play. And support the troops. Oh, UCF is upset about not being included in the college football playoff. Here's why. How about you stop being a bunch of pansies and breaking your legs for no reason? You know who never breaks their legs for no reason? Ohio State. No, Ohio State loses by 40 to Purdue, like a man. So let this be a lesson to you. Don't be breaking your bones like a bunch of pansies for no reason, UCF. And don't be looking for any handouts either. That's not what college football is about. It's about working for nothing, absolutely nothing, except the yelling that you will get from Urban Meyer, a real man's man and a man of integrity. You want to learn a thing or two about integrity? Ask Urban Meyer. He knows about integrity. He's not going around letting his quarterback break his own knee. No, he's losing by 40 to Purdue. That's what Urban Meyer does. Don't forget this, UCF. Next time you think you want to be included in the college football playoff, don't act like a bunch of pansies. Yeah, go play some real competition and hold yourself accountable, just like Urban Meyer in Ohio State. Be included in the college football playoff? Ridiculous. What do you think this is? College basketball?
The pass out here to Luck, and he caught it. We were joking with Andrew Luck about that very thing, him being a receiver. You know, Minka Fitzpatrick is the one that's lined up over Luck to the outside, and before that ball snapped, he comes blitzing, which almost ultimately ends up being like a corner blitz because he doesn't think they're going to throw the ball to Andrew Luck.
All right, couple things here. Why did the Colts think that it was a good idea to run this play? And two, I guarantee you that Jacoby Brissett laid out Andrew Luck to dry on purpose there. I mean, how else is he ever going to get his job back? Sure, Colts. Yeah, just let Jacoby Brissett, give him a golden opportunity to retake the starting job by getting Andrew Luck laid out by some linebacker who's looking for a paycheck. Look, if I'm Andrew Luck, I'm looking over my shoulder. One day it's Jacoby Brissett just laying you out to dry on a pass. The next day, Chris Ballard's firing a rocket launcher into your apartment window because he doesn't want to pay that $70 million that Indianapolis owes you. And don't say I didn't warn you, Andrew. This is your warning. Yeah, very conspicuous. It would appear as though Kyrie Irving has been reading a lot of the literature that goes along with being a flat earther. He has now reached a new level of enlightenment where he can now bend space and time. I mean, how else do you explain this? If the earth weren't flat, gravity wouldn't work this way. That's science. And I dare anyone out there to prove me wrong. And if you do, I'll just show this video of Kyrie Irving again. And there's no way you're proving him wrong, because he's Kyrie Irving. And there's only one person on the planet who can prove Kyrie Irving wrong, and that's LeBron James. And he is on the other side of the flat country, cube America. He's in Los Angeles, he's in Boston. For For those of you who haven't been paying attention, which is probably most of you, Oregon State is terrible in football. You can try again next year, Oregon State. And look, I'm sure the 5-star Nike-funded superhumans that the Oregon Ducks have playing for them won't be able to sniff out that trick play next year when you've had a full calendar year to work on it. So get to work, Beavers, and good luck next year. Safety school. Look, look, a lot of you may judge this guy here for loving his dog too much, but I will counter with this. Have you ever tried to take a dog down an escalator? It is like, it's like trying to take a dog down an escalator. There's no real analogy that can help you understand that better unless you've gone through it. They lose their balance. They have no sense of like why the ground's moving on its own. It's crazy. It's impossible. They freak out. Their legs just all stick up in the air, and then they become totally helpless and whining. It's awful. It would be easier to help a dog learn how to use Tinder than get them down an escalator. Coincidentally, puppy Tinder is where these two met. So, happy ending to that story. That's Atlanta. And that's a soccer game. Turns out Atlanta may not be a bad pro sports town. They just can't pay people to go to Hawks games or get anybody to support the Braves or the Falcons. They've just been playing the wrong sport this whole time. I like this for two reasons. Number one, it is the combination of nerd fanaticism and sports into one, which is great. And two, this is terrifying to all those meathead football fans with a tiny dick who think that making fun of soccer somehow proves their masculinity. You guys can go fuck yourselves, because no one else will. You know who has more sex than you? Any soccer player.